We're back for another podcast. Thank you for being a part of my podcast family. I am so glad to have you here. I am very, very excited about my guest today. Not only is she my guest, but she's also my daughter-in-law. We have Danny with us today.
Hi, Mom.
Welcome, Danny, to Grieving and Believing. Danny is here to share her story with us about her husband and my son. Before we get started, I would like to, as always, share something with you. I have only just lost you. The pain is hard to bear. Do I have to go through life knowing that you're not there? Please, someone explain to me why he had to go. Are there any reasons I really need to know? I sit here and remember all the lovely times we shared, the talks and the laughter we had, and talked about everybody who cared. I am told the pain will ease in time, and I will think of him without a tear, but that would be impossible as I need to have him here. He was my very world, my guiding star. I need him to kiss me softly and tell me where he is. Danny, I know Leandra would love to have been here today, but I know that she's not ready. I know it's not time for her, but I am so, so glad that you're here. And everybody, Leandra is Danny and Rob's daughter. Now, let's see if we can get through this together. I am so glad you're here. Rob was my son. He came from a blended family. My husband brought this wonderful person to my life when we got married. And I know this will be a story for both of us. Share a little with us about Rob.
Ooh, where do I begin? The one thing that comes to mind when I remember Rob and when I think about him is Rob was fun.
Oh, yes.
Rob was the life of the party. He was a practical joker. He loved laughing and picking at his friends, and he really loved being together, loved hanging out, loved being with his family, didn't miss a chance to be with the people that he loved. Die-hard Falcons fan, couldn't tell him nothing different, but for the most part, he was very, very popular, very, very fun.
Yes. Everybody loved Rob, and Rob loved everybody. And Rob had no barriers with his love. Because I know, Danny, he loved you, and you brought into the marriage and the relationship, you brought in 4 kids.
Yes.
And Rob loved each one of those kids just like he had fathered them.
Yes, he did.
So yeah, Rob was a very special person, and I miss him, and I know you do too, but I miss him.
Yeah.
So what made him who he was?
I think what made Rob who he was is he was a very accepting individual.
Yes.
And he met people where they were. So he didn't try to change people. He didn't try to make people fit into a box, or he didn't feel as though it was his place to make somebody different than who they actually were. So if you were filthy rich, okay. If you were down in the dumps, okay. If you had more than him, okay. If you had less than him, okay. He was very relatable.
Yeah.
He was able to get along with any and everybody.
I walked into his life, and even before I married his dad, I was his mom.
Mm-hmm.
He accepted me before I even realized or knew that Robert and I were going to get married. I knew we were together.
Yeah.
But I was mom to him, and
Yeah.
that he was a very special person. So I know this, what do you miss most about him?
I miss his presence. And not just the fact that he's not here with me, presence, but he was always there. No matter what was going on, he was always present in the present. He took every birthday was a national holiday in our house. He was not working that day. Every holiday, every doctor's appointment, he was just present. He was my rock and my wall.
You never had to walk alone as long as he was there.
Right. And I was steadied and shielded, because in those moments where I was weak, he steadied me. In those moments that I needed protection, he shielded me. And that's the one thing I miss about him, aside from his laugh. Because that big goofy laugh,
yeah,
is one of the things that I really miss hearing.
Now, I know you have lost other family members,
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily in this order, but grandchildren,
Yes.
father, a fiance, a mother, a father-in-law, and a husband.
Mm-hmm.
For you to have had to cope with the grief of all the multiple losses of family members, did you allow yourself to process each one individually, or was it just a wave of grief all from just bundled up because you had lost all of those people?
Well, initially it felt like a grief tsunami. Like I was actually drowning in the grief, because no sooner did I think I was getting out of the water, so to speak, with one, then another wave came crashing down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the point where I didn't know what to grieve. Do I grieve in the order that it happened? Do I grieve the most recent and work my way back? And in all honesty, I am still processing.
Yeah.
But I do understand that grief is not linear. So I take the journey for what it is. It is a journey.
Yes, it is.
It is a marathon and not a sprint.
Yes.
So it happens in waves. I have really great days, and then Leandra will do something, and I pick up the phone to call him, even today. And then I'm reminded I can't do that.
He's not there any longer.
Yeah, so I just deal with the emotions as they come.
As they come.
And-
Yeah, I do understand that statement, because they can hit you any place, anytime.
Yeah.
You can be sitting in the kitchen and think of something, and there comes the tears.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's a never-ending grieving period. I know it's going to get better, but it just hasn't.
It's the win.
Yeah. Now, family and friends sometimes try to tell you how long you should grieve. You know, they expect you to be ready to move on.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, in this grief journey, I discovered a lot about myself and a lot about people. One of the things that I figured out is that we grew up with these platitudes, the things that we say when somebody passes away.
Oh, yeah.
Because we say what we've heard or what we know. In especially grieving Rob, I learned that people want you to do what makes them comfortable. And it's easy for them to move on from a situation that's not theirs. I lost my husband. They didn't lose their husband.
Correct.
My children lost their father. Their children have their father. So once they've done what I call their due diligence, where they've come over and they've showed up and they've brought the chicken and, those things, they get to go back to their life. They feel the loss, but it doesn't affect us the same way. I roll over to an empty space. They roll over to a person. So in them telling me that, or asking me still, you're not over that yet, I explain to them, I'm never going to be over it. I'm going to learn to live with it. It's like a scar. When you get a fresh cut, it hurts. But as time goes on,
It heals.
it turns into a healed wound, and it reminds you.
What has happened?
But
Yep.
but it's healed. It doesn't hurt anymore. Or if it does hurt, it doesn't hurt as much. So I have to.
It's not as tender.
Right. That's a good word for
It's
it.
not as tender.
I just remind people that we all process loss different. There are no absolutes in grief. Because initially I thought I was doing it wrong. Because people would be like, you're doing so much better than I thought you were doing.
But that's the facade that we show people, because we don't want I don't know about you,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't want them to know how much I was hurting. I wanted people to think that I was all right,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew I wasn't all right.
Yeah.
I knew, like you said, how I feel when I roll over in the bed
Mm-hmm.
and there's nobody there. I have got to, I don't even, I sleep in half of my bed.
I sleep on the edge.
I don't, the other half is filled with pillows. I don't even turn the bed back because I don't want to roll over and there's nothing there.
Yeah. I sleep on the edge of my bed, and I have so much stuff on the other side. Because it almost feels invasive.
Yeah.
That I'm invading the space where he's supposed to be.
Yeah. But like I've said before, I am very fortunate, and maybe because the people surrounding me are more mature.
Mm-hmm.
They have experienced death more. So I still get the phone calls. Like Mary, that's on my podcast. I still get the calls. Are you all right? Do you need anything? Hey, you want to go to lunch today? I have those people that still show up, like you said, after the chicken. After the funeral. People seem to, and I was one of these people. I'm sorry, that thought that, okay, they buried that person. Everything's fine. It's all right.
Yeah.
Let me keep going on my journey.
Yeah.
But through my grief and my loss, I have realized to be more attentive
Yeah.
to people and their loss.
There's so much more on the other side of the funeral.
Yes. Because as the old saying, I have walked in their shoes, Neil, and I know.
Them shoes a little tight.
Yes. Yes. But I understand what you're saying. Now, Leandra has been a way for you to stay connected to Rob. Number one, because she is his daughter, but number two, she have half and half to me. She looked half like Danny and half like Rob. So a lot of times when you're looking at her, you're reminded of him. Have you found ways to connect with him through that?
She is very much her father in every sense of the word. She is popular. She came into the world popular she came into the world with an entourage. She is very social, whereas I'm not. Because people used to wonder, they used to ask Rob, where did you get her from? She don't do anything. But I'm very introverted by nature, whereas Leandra has all her father's DNA. She is everywhere all the time, surrounded by people. People just naturally gravitate to her. But of course, I have other ways. Still a Falcons fan. I have the very first teddy bear I ever gave him. It's now 23 years old, and it sits on my headboard. Um, and in my children, the four I brought into the marriage and the one we created together, there are pieces of him in all of them.
Oh yes.
So
He instilled that in
when
us.
we talk, I hear him. I'd be like, "You sound just like your daddy right now." I don't want to hear that right now. You sound just like your daddy. Quit looking like your daddy. So there's a lot that he also gave me that pulls me through in those hard times. You know, I can hear him telling me it's gonna be all right, and it will.
Yeah. I remember Danny, that Rob was a father and a daddy. I mean, he was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. I remember him showing up at the house with Leandra when she had to be no more maybe a month old.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, "Where's Danny?" He said, "We left her at the house."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would travel with her all the time.
That was his ride or die.
Throw her in the car and they gone.
You know,
And they may be gone for hours.
Yeah. Let me tell you a funny story about Leandra. So she was born on the 21st of February.
Mm-hmm.
We were released from the hospital on the 23rd of February. We went to his friend's house. We didn't even go home.
Showing off that daughter.
He was so proud. We went to where's both of our friends, but we knocking on her door. She said, "What y'all doing here?" And he pulled out this car seat. He talking about, "Boy, get in this house." I went and laid on the sofa and went to sleep. I don't even know what they did. It was just him, Leandra, and our friend.
Yeah, hey, a lot of times you say, "Where's Danny?" We left her at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now, how old was Leandra when Rob passed?
She was 12.
Okay. And she's now
21.
21. She has Leandra has sisters and brothers around her during the time of her grief of losing her father. How do you think they helped their baby sister navigate through the grief at such a young age?
Well, I think they've always been protective of her.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, at 21, they call her all the time. The boys go by and see her all the time, and they just make sure that she's good. Mm-hmm. And anytime she's having a moment where she's missing him, they'll take her. For some reason, everything has to be in the car. That has never changed. So they put her in the car, just like he did, and they ride and talk. Or sometimes they ride in the silence, and they just be. So that whole thing of leaving me behind, it's in our children.
They still do.
They still
leave you
They
behind.
pack up Leandra, and they whatever it is she needs, they make sure she has.
Now, I know my son was a little older than Leandra when his father passed.
Mm-hmm.
Did she understand? I'm trying to figure out how to ask this. Did she understand death at the time and the grief that comes with death, or did that happen to her later as she got older?
No, she understood it.
Okay.
Yes, she understood exactly what happened, and she also understood what she was feeling at the time.
Okay.
And we had a lot of conversations. I am a very open parent, so we had a lot of conversations. I did get each child their own individual therapist because the one thing I knew is I couldn't help them.
One of your children?
Yeah, I couldn't help my children because this was new for me too.
Mm-hmm.
And with Leandra, even now, if she's having moments of just profound sadness, she'll give me a call and we'll talk it through. Now, being 21 as opposed to 12, she has more language. So she can actually say, I'm just feeling sad. I miss my dad.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, when she was younger, she knew the feeling, but maybe she didn't know how to tell you.
yes, and a lot of it was because she knew that I was grieving as well, and she didn't want to add to that. And I had to explain to her, it's not your job to protect me. So if you're feeling something, and talking to you may help me, you know, because there are things that the three of us did, you know, like when the other kids were maybe at school when she wasn't going to school yet, and we had our own rituals and routines. And so talking about where you are in your journey actually helps me with mine.
Right.
So now that she's an adult, she's a little more open about it, and I let her grieve her way.
Right. Yeah.
So if
and that's a smart thing you did, because although you're grieving, you can't impose your grieving on her,
Right.
because hers is going to be totally different from yours. Hers is going to be unique. Number one, because that was her father. Number two, she was younger. And, you know, and as she get older, you know, and I'm sure she missed him being there when she went from elementary to high school, when she graduated from high school, you know,
she got
all
her
those
driver's
things
license and all the milestones that he's missing.
Yeah, he missed, you know, seeing her go off to her first prom. These are things that fathers are there to support, you know, their daughters for. And she didn't have that. She had that thought. And I know you were there for her, but
it wasn't the same.
It is never the same.
And I had to explain to her that I couldn't help her. Number one, because at the time I still had my father.
Yeah.
I have since lost him, but I also was not a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
When my father passed. So I couldn't really relate to what she was feeling. But I didn't try to speed her grief along, or if she locked her door and didn't want to be bothered, I didn't knock. I waited for her to come out. And that's one of the things that as people we have to learn is you have to let people grieve their way. There's no right or wrong way.
It's really no.
Just their way.
Because today you may be down and out and grieving, and tomorrow you may be all right. I mean, it comes in waves, and it's amazing how it just comes in waves, and you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
You know, you're sitting there minding your own business, and here it comes.
Here it comes. Or you out somewhere and you smell something, and it's bringing it all right back again. So I just let her grieve her way. And I meet her where she is.
Yeah, and that's a wise thing to do. And I'm glad that you have that insight to let her do that. Now, this is a hard part for me.
Okay.
You were right there when Rod passed. Did your faith in God change? And where are you now with your faith, especially after losing so many family members?
When Rod first passed, I was very confused, mainly because I had never lost somebody that close to me before. My faith never wavered. I have a strong foundation in the Lord, and I understand that His ways are not our ways, and I understand that although some of the things that happen in our life may be painful, everything works for our good. My biggest concern was my kids and how am I going to get them through this, because I felt like I was going to crack up.
Right.
You know.
How can you lead somebody when you can't lead yourself?
Right. And so, but I do have a very present theological family. I have my biological family, but I also have my theological family. And like I said, my faith is strong, and it was a dark time. It was a hard time, but my faith ran in the background, so to speak. So on those days when I couldn't get out of bed, my faith was ministering to me. And actually, through the losses, I got closer to God because I was having more conversations with Him. I was seeking Him. I was trying to understand why things are happening the way they're happening, why so much grief, why so many losses, why now?
Testing your strength.
And now, but I appreciate God's trust in me, because I told my children that God is not malicious, and nothing comes into our lives except that He says so, and we can use this to help somebody. Now I can relate to a young widow, and I can help them. If you have a friend, a classmate that loses their parent, mother or father, now you have an understanding.
Yes.
Everything works for good, but God is dope. That's my dude. So I trust everything he does.
One of the most devastating times for me, with Rob and the loss, was the phone call I got from you. Robin and I had been on vacation. We'd gone to see Tracy in Cleveland, and we always drove because it was, a nice 12 or 15 hour, however long we wanted to be, because, we took it easy. We weren't in no rush. We were retired. We don't have no place to be. And we had just got back home, had been on the road for 12, 14 hours. We had just got back home, and you called. And you said, I'm taking Rob to the hospital. And I go, okay, because we were used to that. Rob would have an episode with his asthma or whatever. He'd go to the emergency room, they treat him, and send his butt back home.
And we come home.
So we're thinking, okay, because you would let us know. So
just keeping you in the loop.
Yeah. So we get undressed and get in bed. And I think I said, well, if you guys need a ride, need something, let us know. So we get in bed, and you call again. And you said,
I need you to come to the hospital.
I think you and Pop need to come to the hospital. Y'all need to come to the hospital, and you need to come now. And I'm going, okay. So I didn't question. I just said, okay. So Rob was Robert's only child, his only son, his only namesake. And in my spirit, I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what it was. So I said, Rob, we need to go to the hospital. He said, what are we going to the hospital for? I said, well, Danny said we need to come to the hospital. He said, well, what's going on? I said, I don't know. He said, oh, so we get up, we get dressed. And we head to the hospital now. On the way, from the time I get in that car until I get to the hospital, I am praying, God, please don't let this man's son die. Please don't let this man's sons die. And I don't think I ever told you this. So, we get to the hospital, and we tell the people that we're looking for you, and they tell us you in this little room, and I'm thinking, that can't be good. So we go into the room, and you're there, and you are really, you are hysterical. And luckily, you have two church members there with you. And Robert see that you're crying, and he's going, Chris, what's wrong? And I'm going, I don't know. He said, but what's going on? What's wrong? And the gentleman that was there came and stood by me and whispered in my ear, Rob is dead. Now, I've got to turn around and tell this man that he has lost his only son. And he's still saying, Chris,
what's wrong?
What's wrong? And I finally say, very softly. I remember this to this day. Rob has passed.
And I remember his reaction. I
And
heard you, and I remember his reaction. Because initially I was there alone. Why would I have anybody with me?
yeah,
We was doing our thing. We going to the hospital and we coming home, and you know, my first call was not to you guys. I couldn't think of anybody to call. I went completely blank, and I called my pastor, who was in California, and he sent the church
the
members.
church members.
And he asked me. He said, "Did you call his parents?" And I remember it. I was like, "Who?"
Yeah.
And he said,
Devastation.
"Sister Danny." And I said, "Pastor," because when he say my name like that, I'm at full attention. "Sister Danny." "Yes, Pastor." "Call his parents." I said, "Oh, okay." But I was initially there alone, and that was, ooh,
Yeah.
it
But
was
like
terrible.
you said, it started off being just a
Yeah, it's
routine
what we did.
thing. I mean,
you know, he had migraines.
we
and
do this all the
Yeah,
time.
the kids were texting me, "Hey, what's going on? He good? They keeping him? They put him in the room yet? They gonna let us see him?" Mm.
But Robert just collapsed there, and I think that affected him until the day he died.
Yeah.
It just oh. Now I've lost my place.
It's okay.
But
That was a hard place to revisit.
um can you share a moment with us that you had with him that still bring you joy? And I think you may have hit on some things already. um you know the fact that you both love football.
One of the moments that brings me well, it's two. One of the moments that brings me absolute joy is us finding out we were pregnant with Leandra and her being born. That was a comedy of errors, if ever there was, because he was so excited and so worked up, but he was so terrified. And he was doing push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks, and I'm laying in the bed. "Dude, what are you doing?" He's telling, ooh, we about to have a baby. I've done this before.
4 times already.
Not my first rodeo. Just trust me. And he's suiciding, and and I'm like, "Sir," but he saw her come out, and from his position when she came out, her eyes were open and she was looking right at him. And that's one of the stories that he loved to tell, that she immediately knew who he was.
That's daddy.
Yeah, said, "You that guy that keep on talking to me, making me kick like I'm coming out through her stomach." And so those two things, him finding out that we were pregnant and him seeing her be born, are two of the memories that always make me smile.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, you posted pictures on Facebook just maybe about a week ago about your anniversary.
Yes, ma'am. In August, yeah.
How difficult was that for you?
It's been 9 years, and it's not as challenging as it was, because, like I said in the post, I wasn't sad because he wasn't here anymore. I cry because I'm grateful that God created him just for me.
Oh yeah.
That was my.
How did I manage to get so lucky?
That this is my person. And a lot of people don't know that I had never desired to be married. But you know what they say, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I had never desired. I always wanted to be a mom, but I never sat and planned my wedding and those kinds of things. And God was like, "All right, then let me show you what I got for you." And so, he was mine, my person. And so as the anniversaries come, the birthdays come, because his birthday will be next week. As those things come and the time passes, as I mentioned before, the wound starts to heal. But my anniversary has never made me sad because I'm grateful that I even got to know him.
Yeah.
Claim him as mine is one
blessed.
thing,
We were all
but
blessed.
to just know him and be in his presence and to just experience him, that's why I post the picture of, from our wedding, because I'm grateful that I had that I had him, and that I still have the best parts of him in our children.
Now, is there anything you wish you had said to him or shared with him before he passed? Because I know his passing was
Sudden.
it was sudden. He had not been sick or anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
He had only
he had
been
actually
home 4
gone to
hours.
work that day and come
Yeah.
home.
He had only been home 4 hours.
And sometimes I'm just wondering because, I mean, even though Robert was sick, and even though I knew he was going to transition, it just seems that I just didn't tell him that I loved him at that right moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right before God took him, I would have said, to have said to him, I love you. So is there anything you wish you had said to Rob?
I don't think there's anything that I left unsaid. Rob had a fundamental understanding of what he meant to me. I made sure of that. But I don't think I told him thank you enough. Thank you for coming into my life. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for working through the difficult times with me. I don't think I told him enough just how much I appreciated him and how grateful I was for him, and still am.
Yeah. But I know Rob not as well as you do, because you were married to him, you lived with him. But I really think he knew that. Danny was his life, and I think he knew how you felt about him.
Thank you. I
Now,
appreciate that.
in your grief journey, what do you find challenging right now?
Right now, I find it challenging to date. Yeah. That's an interesting place to be when you haven't done it in so long.
To date.
Like, I haven't dated since 2001. So getting back out there and the reality of the pool I have to swim in makes me want to stay on the shore.
Or are you going to find somebody that's going to be as good to you and love you as much as Rob did?
Well, there's a standard, which is my father. I measure all men against the standard of my father, and Rob fit the standard. So that standard won't waver.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by the selfishness of people. Because you mentioned I lost my mom, and before she passed, I had to put her in a personal care home because I could not provide the 24-hour care that she needed. And I was talking to a guy introduced to by my sister, and he called one day and, hey, what you doing? Oh, I'm going to see my mom. You doing that again? So it's those things that shock me. Whereas, I guess I am used to, oh, you going to see your mom? You want me to go with you? You know, that's what I'm used to. So to get back out there and the opposite of that is true.
Well, I can say this to you. I'm a lot older than you. I'm not even interested in putting my toe into the dating pool. You know, my kids say, get a dog. And I'm going, I don't want to take care of nobody. I don't take care of no dog. And I never will, and I never had a problem taking care of Robert.
Yeah.
Never. No, I mean, it never dawned on me that I was supposed to do anything, but I did.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take care of anybody else. I don't want to be I don't want to have a dog depending on me to feed him, you know, or I can't go anywhere because the dog.
You got to make sure the dog taken care of. It's like having a kid.
I mean, and I am one of these people that will never say never.
You're right.
But dating just ain't. What's that song? Dating just ain't my.
I don't know that one.
Dating is an old one. Dating just ain't my grip or something like that.
Okay.
But nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And I also, one of the things that people need to understand is that it's been 9 years, but I'm not in a rush because I got to know me.
And it took you longer than 9 years to find him.
It did. Took me 30 of them. 31 of them, as a matter of fact. But also, I'm good with Danny.
Yeah. And, you know, Rob, in some ways, is a lot, although Robert did not raise him. Robert and his mother separated when Rob was very young. He did not raise him, but he still had a lot of his traits.
Yeah.
He still had a lot of, you take care of family.
Yeah, he did. And he did.
You know, the people that you, in that house with you, you make sure they all right.
Right.
You know.
And he did that.
And Robert was also, you know, the life of the party. You know, he would come home and tell me that he was standing in the grocery line and someone was flirting with him. But that was his personality.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, they liked him.
That used to really aggravate me. Because we couldn't go anywhere without somebody. I took him to my church and he knew somebody. And I was mad. Like, this my church. How you know somebody here? But he was in a basketball league, and one of the players is a member of my church. But I was mad. Dude, how you this popular? How?
Yeah. No, Robert was actually, he was divorced 25 years.
Yeah.
Before I met him. And his thing was that he would never and ever get married again. And everybody who knew him knew that about him. He even had a sticker on his car.
On the car,
said, being married is like sleeping with the enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was very surprised when he asked me to marry him, because when I went into a relationship, I never thought we would get married. You know, I thought we would hang out, we'd be together, and if I decided and I told him this, I said, I'm fine with that. You know, I'm glad you were honest with me. And that was another thing about Rob. Rob was honest. He would give you an honest, he was honest about it.
He was.
But I told him, I said, thank you. I'm glad you were honest with me. I said, because I've been married before, happily, and if I decide to do it again, you go your way and I go mine. I don't have a problem with that. So I really never expected us to be together, to get married, and be married for 27 years.
27 years, yeah. Yeah, but like I said, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. He made sure that bumper sticker came off.
Hey, he had to put a ring on it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
But another question I ask all my guests is, and And once again, I lost my page.
It's okay.
And I keep losing this page. I guess God keeps wanting me to try to wing it. But another question I always ask: how do you think all the losses that you have lost have brought you to the topic of this whole podcast? How has it brought you from grieving to believing?
Well, I would say I have never not believed.
Mm-hmm.
I get asked this question a lot. Are you angry with God?
Oh, yeah.
And I can honestly say I've never been angry with God. Now I'm angry at them for leaving. Like they had anything to do with it. Like I'm mad at you because you left.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were supposed to been touring the country in the Winnebago. You promised to take me to every football stadium in America. Like,
And you
yeah,
bombed out on that
yeah,
one.
you bombed out on that when you stood me up. You know, but I personally do not feel that you can call yourself a believing believer and not understand God's ways, his character. God loves us unconditionally.
Yeah.
His grace is inexhaustible. His mercies are new every day. His compassion never runs out. So every time I've experienced the loss, I just remind myself of who's in charge. Now, I want my people here, but even sometimes you have to love people enough to let them go.
Yeah. I've known the times I prayed for God to take somebody because they was in so much pain.
Yeah.
You know,
And
trying not to be selfish.
With my mom, I know she was fighting to stay here. God tried to take her home a couple of times. And she was like, God, I can't leave my baby. Like, I can't leave my baby here. And so I woke up the morning that she passed knowing she was going to pass that day. So I went to see her and I talked to her and I told her she could go. You could go. You can go. Like, you've been asking for your mom. She's waiting for you. Your son-in-law is there waiting to chase you. Because Rob used to chase my mom. I mean, chase like run. She would run. He was surprised at how fast she was because she was so small. You know, your great-grandchildren that you never got to meet. There's people waiting for you there. I will be okay. I have enough people around me that will see to it that I'm okay. And she went. Sometimes you have to love people enough to let them go.
Yes.
I told her to run because, you know, she had both of her legs amputated above the knee. You have a brand new body ready for you. Run. And so in those moments, I understand the plans that God has for me.
Mm-hmm.
And part of those plans include loss. And I can either let the loss depress me or drive me. And every loss I've ever experienced has taught me something, but it's also driven me closer to God. So that's how I go from grieving to believing. I keep the main thing. God loves me.
That's wonderful. That is fantastic. That is the best explanation I think I've heard. Thank you. Mark 10:9. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremiah 31:3, love yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, you know, I just lost Robert.
Yes.
And I know that the grief that you go through, but I also know each of our grief is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you can share with me that will maybe help me along my grief journey?
The one thing that I would say to you, and I would say to anybody that's grieving, is take your time. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. In the moments where you find yourself happy and you remind yourself you're supposed to be grieving, remember that that's a part of it, and that you are human, not superhuman. And as women, we're groomed to be super women. Right now, just be a woman and feel the emotions. Don't try to fight them, but just take it moment by moment by moment, and don't compare your journey to somebody else's.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as I taught Leandra, grieve your way.
Yeah. Oh, girl, thank you for being here. Thank you for
course.
being on my podcast. Thank you for sharing this journey of yours with us. I know.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot.
Oh, Jesus, it has been
a lot.
It has been a lot, but it has been enlightening. I'm hoping that my podcast listeners have listened to you going on this journey, and maybe some of them will be able to walk through the fire,
Yeah.
And get to a place that is comfortable. Like, hey, 9 years later, you're still grieving.
Yeah.
But it's a different type of grief.
It's a different type of grief.
So I thank you for sharing with us, and I know that it's going to be as a podcaster yourself, I know that this is going to be a great podcast. And,
yes. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. They say you always have to take a negative
and turn it into a positive.
And this has been my positive. It has been hard. I've cried a lot at home. I've cried a lot on the podcast.
Yes. It's very cathartic.
Every time I walk away from a podcast, I feel a little better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel because I have shared what you have gone through, and you have shared with me. So it's been good. It's been good. We're going to keep it going, and I hope people keep listening to us. And in order to do that, you need to subscribe, and you need to hit that bell. And because it's free, don't cost you anything. And leave me some comments in the comment section. Those comments help us get better. And if you would like to be on my podcast, if you'd like to share your grief journey with us, and it may feel hard to do, but I promise you, once you get here and you sit in this chair, it's a different feeling, and you'll be glad you came. Email address to get in touch with me is chrisgreen7283@comcast.net. Love you guys, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.